Hello, Ash.
Hello, Taryne.
I have a fun fact for you.
Of course you do.
Did you know bananas can't reproduce?
Yes.
You did know that?
Yeah, I read it on a Snapple thing, I'm pretty sure.
Snapple facts. Yes, if you didn't know, bananas are in fact a hybrid of two other plant species, and it has no seeds and has only been able to reproduce with the aid of farmers who transplant part of the plant stem in order to create a new one. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I wonder what the other two, is it like a plantain? And
I
something else?
don't know. Hybrid of two other plant species.
Like you would think plantain.
Yeah, I was trying to find.
I don't know what else it would be.
I would this is a very large article, so
Even
I'm
just
going to save that
the word
for
plantain makes me want plantain chips. That sounds so
plantains
good.
are so good.
Yum.
Today's episode is supported by Wireframe, an original podcast from Adobe. This season of Wireframe is geared towards small business owners who handle all the branding, content design, and social on their own for their business.
Each episode features one small business owner. We pair them with a mentor who has built their own successful brand and then a designer to help them execute a plan to solve their problem. Mentors this season include Chris Do, Courtney Quinn, aka Color Me Courtney, Phil Wang of Wong Fu, Hilton Carter, Ellen Marie Bennett, Deja Fox, and many more. This season includes amazing designers as well, like Elaine Lopez and Kyle Webster. And this season features episodes like a realtor learning how to make engaging educational content for home buyers on Instagram and TikTok. As you guys know, I have a small business of my own, and season 5, episode 1 is one of my all-time favorites. Having a startup can be really hard, trying to figure out how to brand yourself and how to market yourself when you haven't really had that experience sometimes. And the episode Courtney Quinn and Brandon Gross help Will on a whim rethink his website is my go-to, and I highly recommend.
Search for Wireframe in your podcast player. We'll also include a link in the show notes. We want to say a huge thank you again to Wireframe for their support of UA. Here's a question. Is there anything more precious than the safety of you and your loved ones? Of course not. So isn't it strange that not all home security companies truly put you first? Old school home security companies set you up with outdated technology, overcharge you for service, and lock you into binding multi-year contracts. That's why we use and trust SimpliSafe Home Security. SimpliSafe protects you with cutting-edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back, and here's why we love it.
With 24/7 professional monitoring, SimpliSafe's agents call you the moment a threat is detected and dispatch police or first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home or can't be reached. Their monitoring experts use proprietary advanced response technology to visually confirm when a break-in is real so you can get the highest priority police dispatch. During October series, my senses and nerves are just on edge, and I love SimpliSafe because they are able to detect whether a break-in or a sensor going off is a real problem, a real emergency, and they will dispatch the police for you. That is why I love them, and that is why I trust them.
Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at SimpliSafe.com/advice. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to SimpliSafe.com/advice. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Today's episode is brought to you by Casetify. Me and Ash are ginormous
Big fans.
Casetify fans.
Big stands.
Big stands. I have a collection of Casetify cases that I rotate for seasons. I have this yellow one with ghosts on it that I'm getting ready to put on my phone because it's obviously spooky season. And if you're like me and you drop your phone frequently and you need a case that's not ugly and bulky, but that'll make your phone protected, sustainable, and also have style, Casetify has you covered.
Casetify's goal is about creating a case that's not only sleek and stylish, but also protective. Engineered with EcoShock, Casetify's latest protection tech, their newest iPhone 14 Impact series is 20% more protective and just as slim. Their cases are optimized for protection up to 11.5 feet, guys. That's so far. At 5 times the military standard, withstanding drops of up to 130 times. My sister tested this once down our stairs. It's true. But it's not just about protection. They have a large range of prints and designs curated by their diverse community of artists, so there's something for absolutely everyone. You can also design your own customized cases, so the options are truly endless.
Get one of the most protective, cool-looking, and environmentally friendly phone cases the internet has to offer. Get 15% off using our code 15advice, that's 15advice, for 15% off at Casetify.com with code 15advice, or just go to the link in our description. Is anyone else's friendship largely based on their love of food? Because it's mine and Ashley's. But hello everyone, welcome to the pod.
Everyone, welcome back to the podcast. This is Unsolicited Advice.
Yes.
That's Taryne. I'm Ashley, and we're a week away from October series.
Oh my heavens!
From the October series.
The October
very,
series.
very excited about it. So much to discuss and talk about, but before we even get into that, I just wanted to take a moment to tell you guys that we are in need of your scary stories. We wouldn't have the October series without you guys sending in your creepy, terrifying stories that you have lived and have decided to share with us.
Basically, we want you all to relive your trauma.
Exactly.
For our entertainment.
But in the best way. So if you could just sit down, type it out, remember as many details as possible, all the specifics really make a good scary story. So include all of that. And then of course, when you send it in at the top of the title, put in all caps October series, so we know to separate it from the rest of our emails. We are just so very excited.
I'm so excited. It's funny because it always sneaks up on us. And even me and Ash had all these plans. We're like, oh, we're gonna be so ahead this year, but already I'm like, dude, it's coming. It's coming. I can't wait.
It's scary how fast it's coming.
And we told them that we decided on an extra episode, right?
Yes, we will be doing an extra episode. TBD when. We'll let you know. Of course, you guys will be the first to that we'll tell. But yeah, once we figure out when that comes out, we will let you guys know. So we will be doing a total of 6 episodes.
No.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 Mondays this October.
Wow.
And I thought I said that last week.
Oh, I don't know.
But we agreed to another one. So that'll be a total of 6.
Wow. Wow.
I'm not mad at it.
I didn't know. Well, I guess. Yeah. Okay. T. All right. How are you doing, Ash? What's new?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. I am so very excited. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but I am moving.
Yes, you are.
In 2 weeks. And very excited about the move. So I've just been doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect because I found out about it a few weeks ago. So I've had a good 6. I have a total of 6 weeks to prepare and order things.
Well, that's a good time.
Yeah.
Good amount of time.
And it's close. So
yeah,
I could take my time moving in, no rush. And I'm just really excited about it. So that's kind of been the primary focus. But I got my nails done today.
Yeah, you did. Let me see.
I feel like a pretty princess.
Nice.
And I got a matching pedicure, which means I feel like a queen now.
Yeah.
1 is princess, 2 is queen. And yeah, living my best life, especially. It rained this weekend and it made I know it sounds so silly for those of you that live in places where there's real weather, but out here in California, we don't get real weather. It's always very much the same. But as of lately, it's been so freaking hot, like an oven.
Yeah,
so the rain was such a lovely and welcomed experience. I blasted the AC, pretended it was actually freezing, baked cookies. It was nice. Yeah. It was real nice.
Yeah. I feel like it finally made me feel like it was fall.
Yeah.
So
even
I'm super excited.
100
Yeah.
While it was raining.
Yeah, but when you're inside with the air on, it feels cold blasting. And there's rain on your window.
I had sweatpants on. I had fuzzy socks. I was doing the whole damn thing. And then I went to take the girls out and was like, ugh.
Yeah. No, for sure. I am so excited for Halloween. I already have my Halloween nails picked out. And I think I'm gonna already start. Because I have so many different designs I want to do.
Might as well.
But yeah, it's funny because me and Ash bonded right away about how like we started going to get our nails done together like pretty early in our friendship because we were like, oh, you're obsessive about always having your nails done, so am I.
Yeah.
And we like bonded, but we could not have more opposite styles of our nails. Like Ash
There
is
was
like
an overlap when we first met, I think, because I hadn't really started growing my nails out yet. And there was a like dark purple that I used to wear all the time that you did too.
Yeah.
And that was just a brief thing.
Yeah. I've always, like, even when I was younger, I used to get in arguments with my parents because I always loved the dark colors. Like, I loved black nails, but I wasn't like goth or I wasn't trying to make a statement. But my dad was always like, no, I don't like those.
I remember did you ever do like dark blue?
Yeah.
I had a dark blue
green
phase. I think it was like all of 4th, 5th, and part of 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I would paint them myself. And it was like this like kind of mood ringy dark blue that like I thought was the coolest thing. And I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, it kind of came back for a second. I forget what nail polish company sent it to me. And I started seeing girls having them because it was during COVID and everyone had short nails and was painting their nails. And I saw girls painting with that color and I was like, whoa,
retro.
that makes me feel some type of way.
I know. I love long nails and I can grow my nails long easy, but I have just been thriving with them being short and not having to worry about
typing
them breaking,
with short nails is
also I have like
unreal.
A baby niece now, and so like it's just a lot easier to not have to worry about that.
Your brother probably wouldn't appreciate that.
Yeah. But other than that, I had a video go kind of viral.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had someone like ask me, I posted a video reacting to watching Elvis because everyone's just talking about Austin Butler and Elvis. So I like posted a video, like it was just like funny video of me being like, oh crap, like I get it, you know?
Yeah.
But in the video, you can see my Lego shelves in the background.
Yeah.
So someone commented and was like, oh my gosh, can you show your Lego shelves? So I did a video where I was like, I would love to show you my life basically consists of me just waiting for people to ask me about Lego so I can talk about it. So I did just like a really brief like, here's my Lego shelf, and like I went through the sets I have up there. And then didn't even think about it, and I posted it yesterday like afternoon. And I looked at it today and it's almost at 400K.
That's amazing.
I know. I was like, wait.
The Lego community is a strong community.
I was like, wait, don't start gassing me. Like, I've been trying to break into the Lego community for how long now? And then now all of a sudden everyone's interested.
Yes. But this is the first time I feel like you've actually shown a collection versus like a one piece.
I always show my stuff.
On your shelves?
I will say too, like the comment section is nuts. So it's fun because I feel like I'm going to be able to keep making videos just like answering all the questions and stuff.
You're set for a few months.
Like, wow, I'm sort of famous.
I love that for you.
Yeah,
it's been time.
Thank you.
The real ones know.
They know.
The real ones have known.
Well, do you have a tearing it up for us?
Of course I have a tearing it up.
Of course you do.
This one was also an option to read during our live show. And I ended up...
had a whole like plethora.
Oh man, I probably spent 3 days. Like not, a total of 48, 72 hours. But like over time, looking through tearing it up's stories, funny stories, serious stories, relationship stories, trying to pinpoint like exactly what I wanted to read for the live show.
There was such a pressure on what we picked out because like you wanted it to be obviously like a little bit of drama factor to like tie in the audience, but you also wanted it to be something like, I think we both are kind of strategic in stories we pick because we usually are like, we want it to be something we can like talk about. Yeah. And then you also have to think about like a live audience. Like how, like, will people respond to this? Like, is it short enough? Is it entertaining enough?
You don't want it to be too heavy.
Yeah. It was a little.
You don't want to have to pass around tissues, but.
Or do we?
So I ended up not going with this one also. Just ended up doing something different, but this is a really funny, weird, interesting, dramatic story. Wherever you think it's going to go, you're wrong. Like there's a different ending. And I'm really excited to finally share it with you guys because it's been in my folder for a while. This one is titled The World's Best Pizza Delivery Boy. A Tearing It Up. Taryne and Ashley, hello. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I love this podcast and both of your YouTube channels. You guys are making a bigger impact than you'll ever know.
Thank you.
Thanks. So this Turn It Up is pretty unbelievable. And even though I'm not personally in the story, I can assure you that I saw the proof and it really did happen. Back in the summer of 2020, when COVID was in full swing, my parents were preparing for a small get-together at their house to celebrate my dad's birthday, and my mom decided to order pizza for everyone for dinner. About 30 to 40 minutes go by, and there's a knock on the door. My dad answered the door to see the delivery boy from his favorite local pizza shop holding several large pizzas. The boy hands my dad the pizzas and then says, "Would you like to pay with cash or card?" The total was just over $50. My dad whips out his debit card and the boy swiped it using one of those square card readers that you plug into your phone, which we used during our live show. Then just like that, he left. My mom was in the bathroom getting ready, so my dad calls out to her that the pizza's here. My mom comes into the kitchen where my dad had set the pizzas down and with a very confused look, points at the pizza boxes and asks, "What are these?" "The pizzas?" my dad replies, confused by the question. "But I ordered from Domino's. These aren't our pizzas." My dad rushes out the door, hoping the delivery boy wasn't too far gone. Luckily, the boy had realized his mistake and was coming back up the driveway already. "Those pizzas were meant for your neighbor," he exclaimed when he saw my dad. The boy apologized and assured my dad that a full refund would be posted back on his debit card. Not thinking much of it, my parents went on with their night and enjoyed their Domino's pizza and birthday celebration. Later that evening, my mom decided to check their bank account and, just to make sure that the refund actually posted. Like the delivery boy had assured them that it would.
That's like a level of responsibility that like I don't possess.
Yes.
I don't ever check back to make sure like a refund came or like
I feel like there's a certain level of money where I'm like I'll make myself check.
Yeah.
But my mom is the type of person who, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a $3 difference. Yeah. She will check because it's a matter of what's mine and what's right and wrong.
But also that's a talent.
It's a gift. It's
that's
gift.
a very wow.
I got ripped off from Valvoline the other day. I think I talked about it on the podcast, and I still haven't complained. I haven't done anything about it, and I should because it's a good amount of money. But it's stupid. It's so stupid. This is like a different type of lazy that I have, and it's so weird.
I feel you.
It's so weird.
I'm there too.
So she checks her bank account to see if it actually posted, but what she found was actually so much more interesting. She saw a charge from the pizza place for the original $50, but directly after it was a pending deposit from the pizza place for $50,000.
Oh, sick.
Deposit.
Sick.
Not charge. Deposit.
That's amazing.
The delivery boy, the poor delivery boy, had accidentally put too many zeros when trying to issue their refund.
How does that even go through? I guess if you have a big business, but
I mean,
like sometimes I try to make a payment of like $700 and my bank will call me being like, "Is this you?"
Yeah, I don't know how he had that type of power. I mean, I know Domino's is a big company, but like max.
No, it wasn't Domino's though. It was like,
it was the other place. You're right.
But I mean,
so who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, interesting. Wow.
The next morning, my dad called the pizza place and explained the whole situation. They gave my dad the direct cell phone number for the owner and told him to call the owner directly. After several attempts, my dad finally got a hold of the owner and told him what happened. The owner replied with, "Don't worry about it. The $50,000 will just be pending in your account for a few days, then it'll disappear." Tragically, a few days later, a very tragic situation happened at the pizza place, and it made my parents extremely uncomfortable. There's no way that these things are correlated, right? We aren't in any danger, right? My parents continued to check their account multiple times a day, hoping the transaction would simply disappear and they could stop stressing over it. Until a few days later, she writes in all caps, the $50,000 was officially deposited into their bank account and they both start freaking out. What do we do now? Is this some kind of joke? Could we somehow have gotten in trouble for this? We didn't mean to take this guy's money, and how do we give it back? My dad started calling and texting the owner with no reply. A week goes by and still no response. What do we do with this money if we can't get a hold of the rightful owner? Finally, in the middle of the afternoon, one day my mom was home all alone when there was a loud banging on the front door. Because of the aggressively loud nature in which they knocked, my mom decided to peek out the bedroom window before answering the door, as she should. What she saw were several huge men standing there with frustrated looks on their faces. But then she saw the poor delivery boy standing not too far away with a look of despair. After a moment of contemplating, my mom decided to open the door. One of the big men speaks up and says, "Did you know $50,000 got deposited into your bank account from our restaurant?" His voice, according to my mother, was deep and rough.
God.
She replies, "Yes, my husband's been calling and texting you nonstop about it." The man's face and whole demeanor changed in that moment from angry to sad. He said with the traumatic event that happened at the restaurant, he didn't pay attention to his phone for weeks. In the end, my parents were able to give back the money to the poor owner. The delivery boy did not lose his job. And now we as a family have one of the craziest stories to ever tell at parties. I hope you guys enjoyed this story and that it was easy enough to follow. Oh, this is funny. She said, "This would make a very great Tearing It Up for Your Life show if you choose to read it," which I'm so sorry I did not. But isn't that wild?
Dude, that's a straight up movie.
That is a straight up movie.
So many questions.
I have so many questions. And was it correlated? Like, what happened?
That for sure is a mafia run family.
Oh, the pizza restaurant?
And the reason the guy didn't get fired, because anyone else would have gotten fired for that, is because he's like Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But also, like, I don't understand how he had the power. Like, there should have been some kind of authorization that had to happen first before that goes through. Like, I get how it was pending, but how did it go through?
I don't know. I've never been a baller. So I've never been like transferring that amount of money. There has to be some
kind of, you know, that's a huge amount of money to transfer over a Square app. So I'm like, there had to have been some kind of like alert that went through to the owners.
Unless it was like, you know, a conspiracy and like they were trying to get rid of the money so that like people couldn't see it.
Do you think they were watching it?
Then they were like freaking out because they were like, well, we can't get it back now.
Mm-hmm. They were in the money washing business like Ozark. Drama.
That's interesting.
I kind of live for it though.
That's very interesting and terrifying.
Yeah. The poor kid. It wasn't his fault. I could have accidentally
he probably
put in
got
too many zeros.
His bell rung a couple times.
I'm sure.
Just a couple times.
Just a couple times.
Wow.
And since, you know, we're on the subject, if you guys have any funny, embarrassing stories, please send it in. Especially, they could be October series related.
Yeah.
For this next coming month and 6 episodes. So if you are sitting on a funny, embarrassing story, please submit it because I live for these. They're my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. October series style Tearing It Ups would be great.
Oh my God. So funny. Because
like we had one.
We used to get them.
An example was there was like one, like someone got, I don't remember the exact details because it's been a minute, but someone got like scared and it actually ended up being like a super innocent situation. So it's like stuff like that. Like something like you thought you were going to die, but then you realize it was like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like embarrassing costume situations.
Malfunctions. Yeah. Like when I was in 6th grade and I wanted to be a referee and the number on it was 69. I had no idea.
Not even that long ago. This was probably like 3 years ago. Me and my friend, who also loves Halloween, did one of those. It was a trend at the time. It was like the ghost sheet on TikTok trend. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't sing the song right now because I can't think of it, but it was like waking up October 1st and we like, Taryne was there, she filmed the whole thing, and we like fall into the pool and we have these sheets on and I literally waterboarded myself.
No, I was like 2 seconds away from jumping in because you panicked.
I had thought about it because I was, and because I have issues with swimming, I was plugging my nose underneath the sheet in like preparation of like, oh, it might take me a minute to get the sheet off. You know, I wanted to like be prepared and not panic. But then I didn't even think about the waterboarding and only having one free arm to like,
yeah.
It was terrifying.
And it's like, it's one of those things, it was pretty fast. Because if it was, like I said, I was like seconds in from jumping in.
Yeah.
But also like it was fast enough to where I was like,
really
oh, okay.
fast.
But for you, it probably
felt like an eternity.
So long,
and
yeah.
I'm not good at holding my breath underwater. And I don't know what it is, but I have some kind of fear with like releasing air underwater. Like what's blowing bubbles through your nose?
Really?
How are you supposed to do it? Yeah, I've never been able to. That's why I have a hard time swimming without plugging my nose. It was really embarrassing. But the video turned out great.
The video is great. That's
if y'all
all that
want to see
matters.
it, I'll post it for just because.
Just for funsies.
Yeah.
Today's episode is supported by Wireframe, an original podcast from Adobe. This season of Wireframe is geared towards small business owners who handle all the branding, content design, and social on their own for their business.
Each episode features one small business owner. We pair them with a mentor who has built their own successful brand and then a designer to help them execute a plan to solve their problem. Mentors this season include Chris Do, Courtney Quinn, aka Color Me Courtney, Phil Wang of Wong Fu, Hilton Carter, Ellen Marie Bennett, Deja Fox, and many more. This season includes amazing designers as well, like Elaine Lopez and Kyle Webster. And this season features episodes like a realtor learning how to make engaging educational content for homebuyers on Instagram and TikTok, a coffee startup learning how to share their founder story and add more personality to their content, or a content creator learning how to use color on his website to tell his story and move merchandise. I'm obsessed with Wireframe, as you guys know. I have a small business of my own, and season 5, episode 1 is one of my all-time favorites. Having a startup can be really hard, trying to figure out how to brand yourself and how to market yourself when you haven't really had that experience sometimes. And the episode Courtney Quinn and Brandon Gross help Will on a whim rethink his website is my go-to, and I highly recommend.
Search for Wireframe in your podcast player. We'll also include a link in the show notes. We want to say a huge thank you again to Wireframe for their support of UA. Here's a question. Is there anything more precious than the safety of you and your loved ones? Of course not. So isn't it strange that not all home security companies truly put you first? Old school home security companies set you up with outdated technology, overcharge you for service, and lock you into binding multi-year contracts. That's why we use and trust SimpliSafe Home Security. SimpliSafe protects you with cutting-edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back, and here's why we love it.
With 24/7 professional monitoring, SimpliSafe's agents call you the moment a threat is detected and dispatch police or first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home or can't be reached. SimpliSafe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and outside your home, smarter ways to detect motion that only alert you when a threat is real, and even hazard sensors that instantly detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. During October series, my senses and nerves are just on edge, and I love SimpliSafe because they are able to detect whether a break-in or a sensor going off is a real problem, a real emergency, and they will dispatch the police for you. That is why I love them, and that is why I trust them.
Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplisafe.com/advice. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to simplisafe.com/advice. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Okay, let's get into the stories. I will go first.
Perfect.
Mine is titled, "My Best Friend Chose to Stand by My Ex."
Trash.
You know what? Trash.
That's my unsolicited advice.
There's nothing. I definitely have had friendships that got damaged because of the way that they were with my ex after we broke up. Mm-hmm. There's something about when you are like in that raw of a state, and I think for friends, like you just assume like they're always going to be there. Mm-hmm. And when they're not, like it ruins you.
Yeah.
Like it ruins you. Oof. Okay. Hi, Ashley and Taryne. I just wanted to first off say I have been loving your podcast. And yes, I am the type of person who listens to podcasts while at the gym. Anyways, here's my situation and would love to hear what you guys have to say.
I'll never relate to you.
I will not either, but that's great. I have known my childhood best friends since we were in kindergarten. We met playing basketball, and all I can remember is us being inseparable, both on and off the court.
Cute.
We didn't live, I know, so cute. We didn't live close to each other, so we would only see each other on the weekends because of basketball. Fast forward to college, we didn't really see each other that often because the basketball phase of our lives ended, but we still kept in touch here and there. Then came our senior year of college. We reconnected and started to hang out with each other more. I introduced her to my boyfriend at the time and our friend group. She mingled with everyone so well, and I was happy to see where things were going. My boyfriend then dumps me a couple of months later. Some backstory, we got together senior year of high school and went through almost all 4 years of college doing long distance. He dumped me when it was towards the end of our senior year in college because he got a job offer out of state and said he wanted to be single and not do the whole long distance relationship anymore. I would be livid. Like if I went 4 years of doing long distance and basically missing out on my college experience for a guy, and then he decides to go somewhere else and then is like, I'm over this. I'd be like, I didn't get the reward at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like the reward is you come back and we have a relationship.
And we have a real, like you never even got to experience a real relationship because long distance is hard too.
Oh, I could never.
All 4 years of college, oof.
No, I could never do it. I have so much respect for people who can. I know myself and I couldn't, unless it was Harry Styles, and then obviously. Okay. From what I can remember during that awful time, he said he felt like continuing our long distance relationship would feel like a chore when he's at his new job. Anyways, the story isn't about that, D-bag.
Trash.
Ashley loves how, because I won't cuss on anything, as I'm sure anyone listening has noticed, but like I'll say like replacement words and she's always just like, Taryne.
But what's hilarious
I'll
is
be like, shiz.
Taryne does cuss, so it's watching her like just remember to not and then replace it. It's that in between.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to because I feel like I don't even remember the age where it started happening. I think it's like you're around like the cool people and they cuss. So you like try to. Do you remember that time in your life where you like
middle school?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I feel like it was like closer to like senior year of college, like when I started. But it's funny because, yeah, dude, I have always been so like innocent with certain things.
I accidentally said the F word. I didn't even know what it was. I think in like second grade, I got in huge trouble and I became obsessed with it. I would like whisper it with my friends like whenever I could.
You love the reaction to it? Well, I just remember like for me, it felt so foreign and forced. So like I used to like practice how I would say certain phrases because I'd be like, oh, I'm going to mess up and not sound cool.
College. That blows my mind.
But then like it gets like habitual. And then I hate, like sometimes I'm like, I should be able to think of more words than that. Like that shouldn't be like the only way I can express frustration or anger or whatever. So then I always tell Ashley, I'm like, I'm not going to. I'm going to try. But it's hard. It's like once like.
Since the day I met her, she has said, starting now, I'm not going to cuss.
I'm not going to. Well, and this, I'm not like a sailor, but like it's like it comes out. So yeah, I always am like trying to sound more intelligent and more like classy, you know? Anyways.
I'm intelligent and classy.
I didn't say you weren't. Don't take that on you while I'm talking about myself. Okay, a couple months later, I'm on Instagram and I see he posted a picture of him and a girl. It's the worst.
Trash.
Basically saying that he had a new girl. My heart sank when I saw that picture. Until this day, I can't get that feeling out of my head. I clicked on her profile and it turns out my childhood best friend was following her this entire time. I felt so betrayed and hurt when I saw them following each other on my screen. We then had an argument through text, and I basically told her I was hurt to see she didn't have my back throughout this breakup. She apologized and said she understood and cared about our friendship more than anything. Fast forward to a year later, and my childhood best friend is closer to my ex and our old friend group than ever before. And surprise, surprise, her and I don't talk anymore. I've been seeing them post all over social media about going to Vegas, parties, and clubs. And I'm just wondering, am I a bad person for feeling this way? I brought up how I felt in the past already, and it hurts me to see she clearly doesn't care about what I said or how I felt about where she stands between my ex and I. This whole thing sucks because not only did I lose my boyfriend at the time, but I also lost a best friend. I would like to remain anonymous if this ever goes up on the pod. Please let me know what you guys think about this entire messy situation and give your girl some advice. Love you both.
Well,
This is rough.
Unfortunately, I feel like it's very common.
Oh, it's so common.
And here's why. One, I think it's common, period. Two, I think you're at a stage in your life where people are also still trying to figure out like who they are, what their vibe is, what their group is, like, you know, who their friends are, what they believe in, even career. Like, it's such a transitional period. So like you losing a friend like is normal around that time. It's the way.
Yeah.
It's the way it went down,
Yeah.
you know? It's stupid.
I have a theory, and I've talked about it before. I think that the downfall of most relationships is people get so focused on what they think about their actions and what they're doing, and they don't really look past it to be able to separate, like, okay, even though what I feel like I'm doing is fine, like I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong, I see that what I am doing is really affecting you.
Yes.
And if I care about you as a person and as a friend, I'm willing to change my actions because I don't want to do something that hurts you.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is people are like, okay, just because you guys dated doesn't mean I can't still be his friends. It's not like I'm dating him. Like,
Right.
It's not her fault that he started dating her. She's a cool girl and we're friends. And you get stuck in that loop of just justifying, like, well, what do you want me to do about it? It's not my fault, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, okay, whoa, I'm obviously hurting you a ton.
Yeah.
And instead of me sitting here and like defending myself, let me first acknowledge, I'm so sorry that I made you feel that way, and I'm so sorry that you're hurting.
Yeah.
And making that person feel supported and that you care about them.
And just seen.
And then trying to have a conversation of like, okay, realistically, like, what do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any friends, and like, I do feel like I belong in this group, and whatever it is, you know, obviously we don't know her side of it, but it shouldn't even matter. And so many of like relationships that have deteriorated for me, it boiled down to that. Just like a power play of like, okay, well, I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but I'm still sitting here telling you like I'm hurt. You know what I mean? So I just really, it's something that I don't think our society feeds into that. They feed into, you do what you want and you do what feels right for you, and like, who cares about anyone else? And while that's powerful, I think it has lessened our ability to be empathetic, you know?
No, for sure. Because in the end, you do got to take care of yourself. You are the one who lives your life, and you got to do what's best for you. Like, you can't live your life based on what other people need. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you can't like stop and at least see them.
Yeah.
And where they're at and what's going on with them, you know, and then see, once you do that, like, even just asking what's one thing you could do to make it better.
Yeah.
You know, not completely altering your life for this person, but like being like, hey, like, I hear you. I see what you're doing. I see what you're experiencing. What's something I can do to make it a little bit better that doesn't completely, change your life trajectory, but like is doable.
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure. And I think too, like, I feel like your best friend is someone who you've trusted with like every aspect of you, right? Like, you're like, for you,
You should be able to. I mean, that's what's happened.
You should be able to. But like for you, I feel like I could say like, ew, why did you call her your best friend? Like, I'm your best friend. Or I could like show those sides of me that you try to be super like cool about in normal life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would never at work be like, oh, why did you say she did a good job? Like, and not me. You know what I mean? Whereas like with you, I could say that and like joke with you and like, you're going to be like, shut up, Taryne. And like, it's funny.
Yeah.
So, and then you also like, you know, like I'm talking to Ash specifically, like, you know, my insecurities, you know, like where I struggle in life, you know, how deep my crushes are, even though on the outside, like I act like I'm super cool. Mm-hmm. So if a betrayal comes in those areas of something that I've like let you into, it's going to feel so freaking deep because I'm like, you know how I feel. Like you were with me. Like I'm thinking for her, she's like, you saw how traumatic that breakup was for me. Like you see how much like I'm still hurt over it. So So how are you choosing to like just move on and be like the third wheel to him and his new girl when like you saw like how much this broke me? You know what I mean? It's like when you let people into like the mushy part of your circle, like in your heart, it's really hard when they do something to like betray that trust. It's hard to recover from, you know?
Right. Which would lead me to ask if you, Anonymous, think that she really thinks of you guys as best friends.
Yeah.
That would be like the next like logical question to pop up in my head would be if this was me and I was in your shoes, I'd sit down and be like, okay, am I the one who is setting the bar really high?
Yeah.
Do I think we're best friends and she doesn't? Or am I more into this than she is?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a total natural, normal thing. And if that is possibly the case, which is what I'm going to go ahead and guess is what's happening, then I would sit yourself down. I would dust your shoulders off. I'd pick yourself back up. And I would remind yourself that you are an amazing human being who is capable of beautiful friendships. And I would go and start living life in a more focused way of finding friends.
Yeah.
And then if she comes back along the way and, you know, becomes a little more,
honestly,
mature. I don't want to say loyal, but like
mature. Yeah.
If she can come around and have a mature conversation, like Taryne is saying, then awesome. But if not, then goodbye. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you need to mourn your guys' really beautiful like childhood, because that honestly, I love that for you, and that's a beautiful memory that I would never want to erase. But you know, friends, we've said this so many times on the podcast. Friends are like seasons; they come and go, and you say goodbye for a little bit. Let her do her thing. You can go do your thing. If she comes back around, awesome. And then if not, you know, don't live your life waiting for her to come back and fix everything, because unfortunately. Humans suck
no, literally.
in that area of life. So I wouldn't bet on it.
I think too, like, I think it just shows that you clearly are not healed from the breakup yet.
Yes.
Because I remember
4 years. That's a long time.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that was me and my ex. And I remember like anybody I saw that was hanging out with him, I'd be like, you traitor. Like in my head, I wouldn't really like say it out loud.
Yeah.
But now like I see if people are like, oh, I saw like so-and-so the other day. I'm like, oh, cool. How is he? Because I like genuinely am over it and fine. And like, I hope he's doing great, you know? So it's just, I think it just shows, you know, we talk about this all the time. Like when you have those negative feelings, like try to pinpoint and be like, what really is going on?
Yeah.
So obviously like you need space. And if she has chosen to attach herself to that thing that's causing you pain, then I think it just shows that in this journey or in this chapter of your life, she can't give you the things that you need. So you need to seek other people to fill that gap.
Yeah.
And then if down the line stuff happens and like Ash said, like she's able to come and be like, hey, like, I'm sorry I hurt you. Like, you know, it was crazy times. And you're able to be like, it's okay. Like, I guess like I shouldn't have asked that of you. I mean, not saying that, but like if that's how you felt, like then you know what I mean? You reconcile and you find a new rhythm to a friendship.
Exactly. So. And I know I've said this on the podcast multiple times, and I'll say it again. I fully believe that one person cannot make you 100% happy. And if you have a friend who you've poured everything into and you're wanting that back, it's okay to have 5 friends and one that you go to when you're sad and one that you go to go out and like throw your heels on and put on like eyeliner and lipstick and go like out and have a girls' night and have a good time. It's okay to have a friend that's a bookworm and all you do is read together. I have friends that I strictly hike with, like, and it's just a thing. And I know, and it's okay because every friend like is feeding a part of you that you need fed. And so maybe this, in a weird way, even though it sucks, is kind of a blessing in disguise, because now you can go out and be like, okay, like, what am I looking for?
Yeah.
What does my soul need filled in, like, right now? And I think if you go out intentionally looking for those things, I think you'll be surprised how quickly they'll pop up because you're actually looking now instead of trying to find one person to fill all those spaces.
For sure.
Which means I'm actually really excited for you, because I think you're going to come out of this with like not only more friends, but you'll be happier with each one because they're filling up that one area that they're good at filling up, you know?
Yeah. And like, it's so funny because everyone's always like, we'll have people write in about friendships and they're like, I'm just trying to find my Ashley, or I'm trying to find my Taryne.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, you guys remember,
which we joke about.
Like, we were not friends growing up. Like,
as far as like, compared to this girl.
No, I'm saying like, even like, coming out of college, like that's right around the time that we met each other, like in our like mid 20s, like early mid 20s. So sometimes like the space that you create from people, you know, I just had my best friend move to another state. Like I was trying to find myself. I had gone through a breakup. So I was like totally separate from like the life that I had like been investing in for years. Yeah. So, and then Ash like had just moved and was trying to find friends. And we both had these areas we were lagging, and then we like found each other and had like a beautiful friendship happen. And now so much of our lives are like entangled. Yeah. But that came from us both like going through stuff.
And full circle, I literally, when I made that move, my number one, you can ask my mom, you can ask Alicia, my number one thing that I was looking for was like new intentional friendships. And that's what I got. Yeah. That's literally what I got. My friend had a birthday party this weekend that Taryne was at. I brought my boyfriend, and we're still meeting a lot of each other's friends that I haven't met a lot of his yet. He still hasn't met a lot of mine. And so he was like, so tell me about this group. And I was like, these are like literally some of my oldest friends. And it's weird because they're not my oldest friends, but it feels like they're my oldest friends. And there's a couple there that was kind of like the last 2 in the group that he hadn't met yet. And I was like, I remember when I moved, like I was so excited to become friends with her specifically, because she was one of the first people that I met. Yeah. You know, and I like that whole meeting her was such an intentional thing. I remember being like, I will be friends with them. And like, honestly, because I stuck around and hung out with her, that's how I met you. Yeah. Because she was the one who introduced us.
No, literally, I called her saying I need a drummer, and she gave me your number. So it's like crazy.
So I was like, yeah, these are like, I like to call them like my oldest friends. I say it from home all the time, but like, so it was fun, like reminiscing on how intentional I was about like even meeting like Thomas and Ash. And I was just like, I will be friends with you because I needed friends at the time. And I took it so seriously. Yep. I went to every hang, every barbecue. I showed up at every event because I was like, I need friends. Yeah. And I'm so grateful I did that. And I think, Anonymous, it sounds like you're in the exact same spot. Yep. I'm so excited because you're going to find them because they're there. Other people need friends too. You're not alone. So I guarantee you they're looking for you also.
Yeah. And it's just encouraging to know like, oh, okay, when I feel like, oh my gosh, everything's been taken from me, or you feel like, oh, I have all these gaps in my life, instead of like focusing so much on that and like getting wrapped up and just being like, oh, this sucks. Like I'm lonely, I'm this, I'm that, which is all, again, natural feelings. Being like, dang, I wonder what's coming. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's exciting.
And then keeping your eye out for it and just being like, oh, like she was cool. Like I'm going to ask her to go like hang out for coffee or whatever it is. And then you'll be surprised how much it starts to snowball. But it's not going to snowball until you get some space, take some time to heal, and then you start to like look forward.
Yeah. And I think the last thing I'll say about this is I think all you need to do is get into a position where you're open and ready. So that when you do see someone, it's kind of like dating. When someone shows up and they're making you smile and they sound like they're a good time and you feel like you would vibe and you could be possibly best friends, you won't even hesitate without being like, you want to get coffee sometime? Like, you won't even pause and be like, is this my best friend? Like, there's not going to be that kind of pressure because you'll already be in an open and ready state for that. Yep. So you'll just start talking and chatting and immediately you're going to be like, are we friends? Should we go to this thing together? Yep. Like, I guarantee you.
It was me and Ash with my family at Red Robin. I was like, hey, want to be friends? She's like, yeah.
But it's all a mindset. Yep. You won't even second guess it. You're just going to be like, bro, let's hang out.
Let's do this. Yeah.
And I'm so excited for that.
You got this
next stage of your life.
Yes. Today's episode is brought to you by Casetify. Me and Ash are ginormous
big fans.
Casetify fans.
Big
stands. I have a collection of Casetify cases that I like rotate for seasons. Like I have this yellow one with ghosts on it that I'm getting ready to put on my phone because it's obviously spooky season. So yeah, big fans.
I even gifted you the Star Wars ones. Those were Casetify.
Yes. And if you're like me and you drop your phone frequently and you need a case that's not ugly and bulky, but that'll make your phone protected, sustainable, and also have style, Casetify has you covered.
Casetify's goal is about creating a case that's not only sleek and stylish, but also protective. Engineered with EcoShock, Casetify's latest protection tech, their newest iPhone 14 Impact series is 20% more protective and just as slim. Their cases are optimized for protection up to 11.5 feet, guys. That's so far. At 5 times the military standard, withstanding drops of up to 130 times. My sister tested this once down our stairs. It's true. But it's not just about protection. They have a large range of prints and designs curated by their diverse community of artists, so there's something for absolutely everyone. You can also design your own customized cases, so the options are truly endless. With a strong built-in magnet, the cases are also MagSafe compatible and attaches seamlessly to any MagSafe item. And to top everything off, they're sustainable as well. Their cases are developed from 65% recycled and plant-based material, as well as being partially made from upcycled phone cases through their Recasetify program.
Get one of the most protective, cool-looking, and environmentally friendly phone cases the internet has to offer. Get 15% off using our code 15advice, that's 15advice, for 15% off at casetify.com with code 15advice, or just go to the link in our description.
So this is funny. I feel like they're not the same, but I do feel like they're similar, and this kind of happened last week.
This always happens.
But I kind of like when it happens because
it's cool.
Whenever, again, you guys know we don't plan these things. Whenever it does happen, I'm like, oh, this must be like someone needed to hear this. You know, that's how I always take it. So whoever you are, this one's for you. All right, this one is titled "When Your Stage of Life No Longer Matches Up with Your Friends."
Woof.
Anonymous. Okay, here we go. Hey ladies, first of all, I love your podcast and love starting off my week listening to the insightful advice that you have to offer. She puts in all bold letters. Please keep me anonymous.
Got you.
I always assume, because multiple people have said it, whenever they like make it bold and like underlined and whatever, I'm like, you must have other friends that listen to this podcast also.
Or like you genuinely have not told anyone else. Like you're like, this is a big secret.
So moving on to her story, here is my dilemma. I've always been someone with a small group of friends. I've never really been the type to make a ton of friends in school, and usually kept my circle to around 2 or 3 friends at a time. Those were the relationships I'd pour into and was used to having around from year to year, seeing the same faces every single day. Towards the end of my post-secondary school, I got married. I quickly realized I was no longer able to relate to any of my friends or colleagues, being the only one that was married. So, of course, after graduation, everyone got busy building their careers, and making time to hang out became more of a task. We would talk infrequently and mostly just catch up on a few things every few months whenever we would hang out. Or we would reply to a post on Instagram or a story reminding each other we still all care about each other every few weeks or so. A few years after that, I became a mom. And now I was not only the married friend, but the one that had other bigger responsibilities. I no longer saw friends from work either, as I didn't get to stick around long enough to make lifelong friendships before having to become a stay-at-home mom. I find myself always being the one to reach out. When I feel like it's been a few months of little to no communication, I always reach out and ask how they're doing while trying to come up with a date to meet up, although this tends to happen once a year. Although when we do meet up, everything's perfect. We have long conversations starting off where we left off, and we do care about each other a lot. It's hard not feeling like I really don't have any friends. You know, the friends you reach out to every single day to tell them all the crazy mom things that happen in your life or seek advice from. It's been very challenging for me to make friends in this realm of life, especially with being a new mom during COVID. I truly feel alone, and I always miss the days of having friends that I could share so much of my life with. I would love to not always be the one reaching out and forcing plans on them, which only makes me feel like a burden. I'd love to be able to have play dates or, you know, other moms there that I can reach out to. I'd love some advice on what you think I should do. I really want to make friends, but it seems like such a weird concept as an adult. Even when I take my little one to public places, i.e. the library, play centers, etc., besides a few conversations with the moms, it really doesn't go beyond that, nor do I see them ever again. I truly feel like my social life revolves solely around my baby, my husband, and my family. Any advice would be appreciated. Thanks, Anonymous.
Yeah.
That was the perfect title for that story.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't give anything away, but also like it encompassed like all of her feelings. So not like this matters, but like great title choice.
Ash loves a good title.
I love it because I immediately was like intrigued. That gave me enough of a story to like immediately want to click it. I have had so many friends that were in similar situations. I have obviously never been the one with the kids or honestly in the relationship. I'm new to the relationship thing. So I've always been like the single friend who was always like free and able to hang. Yeah. Like that's been my whole life. So I cannot relate to this in any way, but I have had multiple friends who were the first in the group, who were the people in like my life that had babies first, got married first. And it is such a task.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's something that people don't really talk about, especially because I think as a society, we kind of are like, oh, well, you're a woman. This is
what you do.
You're supposed to focus on your child.
Yep.
You're supposed to like quit your career, not hang out, not have a social life, and focus on your kid.
Well, and some people absolutely thrive at it.
For sure.
So when you're not a woman who, like, I already know I'm going to annoy everyone when I have a child because I will be like literal Cinderella, just like teaching my child everything they need to know. And like their lunches
her
are like
Lego page will become a child's page.
No, literally. Like,
I mean, I feel like even your nephew is already on your Instagram a lot. And that's not even your kid.
But like, that's the thing to understand is like, not only have I always wanted to be a mom, but that's my specialty. Like,
yes.
That's what I do for a living, like child development.
There are women that are gifted at it.
But then what happens is you are another mom who like, you love your kid, but you're like, I hate being a mom sometimes because I miss going out. I miss doing all these things. And you feel super judged by everyone. You feel like you have to like promote this like, oh, I'm a mom. Look what my child did. And they're so well put together. And you start to like lose who you are because you're trying to just like fit into like what you think society wants. And so many women feel that way.
And no one knows what society wants. Yeah. I, on the other side, I've talked about this with Taryne. I've talked about this with you guys. I'm so scared to have kids. Yeah. I love my life and I love my independence and I just love my lifestyle. And I cannot wait to be a mom one day. I'm going to learn how to be good at it. But like, it's going to be hard. Yep. And I'm not embarrassed to say, like, I'm going to have to ask a lot of people for help because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm worried that I'll hate it. Yeah. So, yeah. But like, I think it's good that we talk about it and like, it's understood that no mom is lesser than the other. No mom loves their kid less. No mom is worse than the other.
No. Everyone's trying their best.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
But I think that pressure is like an unspoken thing. So even though no one would straight up tell you to your face, like, you don't want to be a mom, like, you think everyone's thinking that.
Yes, because I'm projecting a fear that I have within myself onto other people. And I think it's fascinating that you say that because I think that's what you're doing with your friends. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you. Let's just like paint a picture. Let's pretend Taryne gives birth to a baby tomorrow and is like feeling like she needs girl time. If she straight up told me, "Hey, I'm about to throw this kid out the window. Like, I need a break. Like, can we please have a wine night? Can we please at least like go get coffee or do something?" I would be like, absolutely. Especially because I'm free and available. Yeah. So I think you thinking that, you know, they're busy and leaving you out. Yeah, they have jobs and a career, but like, you're the busy one. So like, I think you're putting all of these ideas in your head and then projecting them. Again, this is just me assuming, projecting them onto your friends. And all of that mess is holding you back from simply being like, can I please have a girls' night? Because that's one of the most relatable comments I've ever heard.
Well, and what she said is like, when she does say that, they do, and it's great. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think that like, especially if you're the first one that's a mom and got married, probably like sometimes, and I know I'm guilty of this with my friends that like got married young and had kids, like I didn't stop reaching out because I stopped caring, but I just assumed that they were like busy. Yeah. And they had kids and they couldn't, like, if I was like, oh, I want to like go out to like a club tonight, I'd be like, oh, they probably can't go. It was stuff like that.
And it's not intentional leaving out. It's just the assuming factor, which is funny because I had something similar happen. A friend of mine just celebrated her 2nd anniversary with her husband. And I talked to her probably like 6 months after she had gotten married. And she was telling me how lonely she was. Yep. She hadn't felt like she felt like she lost all her girlfriends. And I was like, well, they're probably just giving you space. You're newlyweds, you know, like setting up your house and stuff. She was like, yeah, space for like 2 months would have been, or 2 weeks would have been great, not 6 months. Yeah. And I was like, then you need to politely remind them.
Yeah. Like, I think a conversation needs to be had of saying, hey, I'm just going to be super real. Yeah. I get we are in different lives. Yeah.
And you have to recognize that. It's important to recognize that.
And will there be times where you're like, hey, like we're all going to like this bar, you should come, and I have to say I can't tonight? Yeah. Yes. But however, like, don't just assume that. Like my sister-in-law she's such a good mom, but she also is very much still like, she doesn't stop her life either. Like she's always like, oh my God, let's go get coffee. Let's go do this. And she's been a good example for me too, because I have seen other friends that are much more like their life stops when they have kids. And for a lot of women, again, there's no judgment on either way of doing it, but I definitely feel like I relate more to how my sister-in-law is, because I feel like a husband and kids are like a beautiful addition. But I still want to have like a life and have friendships and have nights where like I go out and like pump and dump so I can have a girls' night with my friends, exactly. You know? So I think it's just finding that rhythm. And like when my married friends come over, they're just like, they want to be done with me because they're like, I'm so sick of being like, like serious, I'm so tired of watching like Paw Patrol. Like, tell me what it's like out there. Like, and we have so much fun. But I think this literally happened the other day where one of my friends was like, I miss you. Yeah. And I was like, shoot, I don't reach out anymore. And it's not because I don't want to, but she has 4 children. So I just assume like she's busy and that's on me. But now that she's called it out, it's on I'm aware of it, you know?
Yeah. It's not your fault. It's not her fault. It's life gets in the way, as we all know. And this is so normal. I feel like I've been saying this a lot on the podcast. Like what you are experiencing, Anonymous, is so normal. Yeah. And I wouldn't get mad at yourself for being in this situation. I wouldn't get mad at them for them not reaching out either. I think this is a very normal thing that all you have to do is shed light on it.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, I'm still alive. Can we please at least like bring back the group chat?
Yeah.
Like sometimes just having the conversation in the text thread is enough to make you feel included. And then I agree with Taryne. If you want to at least be invited, just be like, hey, I'm not dead just because I'm married and have a kid. Would love to come out. Just, I might not make it out every single time, but like, still reach out, please. And I guarantee you they're going to be like, got you.
Yeah. And after you do that, if they still don't make an effort and it continues to affect you like this, then I think you do need to pursue finding people who, I mean, at that point, it's not even a like, you're a mom and they're not. Like, that's just being like a crappy friend. Yeah. So I would definitely find people to like reach into. I mean, there's tons of mommy groups. There's tons of like things you can get involved with that, you know, like one of my friends moved and she went hard on like going to all the mommy groups, going to all the like city events because she was really trying to find women that she can relate with. And even her, like she's had a really rough time because you go into those mommy groups and everyone is judging everyone.
I was just going to say,
and all they want to talk about is what's organic and what's the right snack and oh, you still do that and oh, he's still in diapers. Like, and mom groups can be brutal. Yeah,
because it's all like whispered and stab you in the back kind of stuff. Little nonchalant digs. I have a friend who just recently had a baby and she was posting, she's very organic. She was posting a lot of stuff online, has her kid, continues to post as she always does. The amount of like moms that were responding, being like, oh, clearly you're new, like you don't know what you're doing. Like here's what you should do instead and blah, blah, blah. She stopped posting because she was like, no thanks.
Yeah,
and I told her, I was like, that's none of your business. So definitely, I agree. If your friends don't come around, they suck. And it's time to find new friends. But be a whole secure, strong person, know your worth, and know that you're a good mother before you enter into the mother world.
The sharks.
Because I've heard that they are rough.
But you'll find someone who's the same as you. And I always tell my friend, I'm like, you just need to go into these groups and have normal conversations. So like when they're like, so what does your kid like to do for small motor skills? You can be like,
I'm like, kid, what wine are you drinking? I don't know, but later?
Like, you know what like I've been really into? Like I just started this show. Yeah, Legos. They're like, oh. I just started this show. Have you seen it? It's so good. Like what kind of TV? Like start to talk about yourself in a genuine way and like who you are as a person. And I think you'll find moms that are like, oh, cool. Like she's real.
Yeah. And I don't think you need to have this big like, oh, I don't want to talk about my kids. I want to talk about you. Just be funny about it. Just be like, can we just have adult conversations for a second? I need a break. I need a break from the kids stuff. And they'll relate to that.
No, for sure. It's funny, like being I do well with, my best friend Nicole in Kentucky, I'll go and she's always like, I love when you visit because you are a kid's person. So I don't have to feel, she's like, I'll have friends come and I can see them just like, oh my God. Cause like her kids are screaming or like one of them fell. Whereas I'm like, what needs to happen? Okay, activities, let's do this, you know? But even like, there's been times where like I'll go to like a shower or like a whatever. And there's like one in particular I can think of where the entire group was sharing their like breastfeeding experiences. And I was just sitting there like, I have nothing to contribute.
No input
And
here.
after like the fifth retelling of like someone's experience, I was just like, I know I'll need this information one day, but like I'm so bored and like, is anyone gonna pass me the biscuits? Because like I was just like so hungry and I was like, why is no one eating?
Bored,
why are we
so you're snacking? Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that because that's not the area of life I'm in right now.
And you should like that. You have no need for that information. So you shouldn't feel bad for not being interested in the conversation either. Because again, like your perfect title, 2 different stages of life. And like when you get there, you can call them and be like, hey, remember that one time when I was bored out of my mind and you were talking about breastfeeding? Can you like retell me that story?
This child is eating my nip off. I need help. Yeah.
Help me.
No, I think everyone needs to be gentle with each other. Everyone needs to be very clear about like what they need. And then I think too, like when you're in like a single place, your mentality is very fast moving. It's very last minute. It's very selfish a lot of times.
Because you can be.
So I think like I get that you don't want to keep reaching out, but when you reach out and when you hang out, if it sounds like the times that you do, the hangouts are very genuine and very intentional.
Yeah.
So I feel like part of it, yes, you should be expecting that they're giving effort too. But if that's the cost for it, like you being the one that reaches out and then you have like great times with them, I wouldn't shy away from being like, oh, I don't want to be the one reaching out again. Like if you want to see them, do it because you want to. And hopefully like it'll start to pick up and there'll be like reciprocation. But.
Yeah. And I think it's good. Last thing I'm going to say, sorry. I think it's good to also go into this not expecting anything in return. If this is something that you're needing, then like do it. Because like Taryne said, because you want to, and because this is something that you're needing. And if they continue to like disregard and not show up for you, then I think that's a good way to kind of be like, okay, like maybe I'll ask around other people or do it less often. But also if it's something that you need, like plan the next 3 at one time, you know, and get it in the calendar so that you're good to go. And then you don't have to worry about it for a while. You know, there's different ways to look at it.
And try different approaches. Like if your friends are like the type that are all over the place, if you have a night where you're like, oh, like, my husband's home, like he said he could take care of the kids, just text him and be like, hey, what are you doing? Let's go grab a drink. Yeah. Like people who are like young and single and in that very like fast-paced vibe would probably do better with that than you being like, hey, next October if you have this date free. So try different approaches and find what works best with like your friend group. Yeah. Like me and Ash went, like when we were younger, it was like, what are you doing? I'm coming over. Yeah. Now it's like, next month on the 14th, like, are you free? Yeah. But we've shifted because we've had to. Because
that's life. Yeah. And again, that's normal. What Taryne and I are experiencing are normal. And what you're experiencing with your friends is so normal. And I think we all just need to start communicating.
Communicate.
There it is. Yep. There it is. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for sharing. You are not alone. You're going to be an amazing mother. And you are capable of being both a mother and a girly pop at the same time.
Girly pop.
I just like close my laptop in so like this like final
like I've
way.
Said what I said.
Yeah. Like mic drop way. And I've never done that before on this podcast. It felt weird, but right.
Yeah.
At the same time.
You have never done that.
I don't know why I did it.
I loved it.
It felt right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's end with a dad joke.
You brought my book back.
I did. Because you were sad.
Because it's a good book.
It's a very good book. It's see how this one it's like one joke per page. Oh, I just showed you it. Did you read it? Okay, tight.
That was too fast.
Also, I've started saying tight and sick again.
Sick. Tight.
So tight.
I hate it.
Me, like just like how I was saying, I like had to practice cussing. Same thing with that. When people started saying dope, I'd be like, in the mirror, I'd be like, that's so dope. Dope. That's dope.
That's dope. That's so dope,
bro. Okay. What did DJ Allergies say to the nose?
What did DJ Allergies say to the nose?
I'm just gonna say it. Wicked, drop it like a snot.
I hate it. That was not a good one.
Wiki. Oh, well, there's my bookmark.
Guys, if you made it to the dad joke, thank you so much for bearing through another whole episode with us. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. Again, reminder, October series is coming. This is a pivotal point. If we want to have 6 episodes, we need you to send in some really good stories. Yes. So this is your time.
12?
Yeah. This is your time to show up. Show up and show out.
Also, get ready for merch.
Yeah, merch is upon us.
It's either out or it's coming, so go check our Instagram.
Yes. Follow us on Instagram for all the details and all the information. We love you guys so much, and we'll talk to you in the next episode, which will be coming soon.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.